On your mark, get set, go. It's Qigong class. Should we hurry up? Probably not. But I'm a radical meditation teacher, so you know, some of you do anyway. I like to say, let's hurry up and meditate. So let's get to it. Because sometimes you're busy, so you might as well take your busyness and hurry up and meditate. All right, we're in an interesting room today. You'll notice it's different than our usual room. It just is a particular day where the hotel that I have been renting, started renting and so on. They have another function going on there today. Normally I would be there, but literally this is the only day between now and May that they couldn't house me. So I'm in one of their partner hotels. Here we are. And that's cool, kind of cool room actually. I like the ceiling, it's kind of interesting. We have some cool paintings on the wall. So we're supposed to be in Wrightsville Beach, but we're a far cry from Wrightsville Beach, let's just say that. Sort of an inside joke for those who are here, because we're kind of in the middle of the city. The name of the hotel has Wrightsville Beach in it. We're not sure why, because it'd take us probably 20 minutes to get to Wrightsville Beach from here. Anyway, rubbing the hands together and placing hands any way you desire right now, placing hands over this area, lower dantian. Remember, if you're training with me, you'll hear it a lot. Almost 40 years of martial arts, almost 40 years of Qigong practice. The people that I consider masters or grandmasters, they all talk about and teach about the lower dantian. What's interesting is some of them don't teach about it that much. They sort of expect you to develop it, I think, on your own. Part of it may be because they don't necessarily speak perfect English or something. But anyway, for whatever reason, it's not highly emphasized by most teachers, even the ones who, when you get to know them and you train close up and personal with them, you'll find out about the lower dantian because they'll tell you it's the source of their power. And that might be all they tell you. They might not tell you how to train it exactly, but they'll tell you it's the source of my power. The lower dantian, when we talk about the highlight this month of clarity, when we talk about the lower dantian, it is the first source of power in your body. It is the first place to recharge. And as I have said many times in many programs over many years now, this area becomes depleted. And when it does, not only do you have problems and so on, but you have a lack of energy. And if you have a lack of energy, you will have a lack of clarity. You will also have a lack of health. And as you go out there in the world to gather, if you take a moment to look at me briefly, as you go to gather, you see what I'm doing with my hands, gather energy from all over. You do too much of that, and you've really dissipated your energy because your focus is not on your lower dantian. So when we practice our Qigong practice, we practice on bringing our mind, our attention to lower dantian. And by bringing our mind to lower dantian, where mind goes, energy follows. That's true in general. If you think about Wrightsville Beach and your mind goes there as a meditation, you start connecting to Wrightsville Beach. Your energy is literally going to Wrightsville Beach and you're making that connection. But if you go to the lower dantian and your mind begins to make the connection with this lower dantian which lives inside of you, you begin to recharge that battery. Can anyone think of a sign? One little tiny sign that your lower dantian is starting to build up some charge. Carrie, I heard her in the background. She said heat. She would be correct in that for sure. Saliva movement would be another one. Opening up of nose, ears, and throat. Some of you will get that feeling like something weird is going on in your sinuses where your ears get plugged. And if you were talking like I am, it would sound like you're talking in a cave or something. That is all part of the Qigong practice. That is all part of you developing clarity. That is all part of you building your lower dantian. Also, the second brain, or in Japanese martial arts, we call it the hara. Very important place. Some of you heard me say it before. My daughter, when she was about 4, she said, "Dad, why don't we just call it the hot?" Which is very interesting because it's exactly what Carrie said. When it starts to build up and you start to have some juice, some chi, some energy, you start getting warm inside. Until that happens and it balances out, your lower dantian may be very weak. And if your lower dantian is weak, your musculature is weak, your organs are weak, your energy is low, you get the idea. So I highly recommend making love to your lower dantian. Hold this when you wake up in the morning. Hold this when you go to sleep at night. Practice it during the day. And over 60 days, over 6 years, it's going to make a difference. And if you are here 6 years from now, you're going to wish that you had held your lower dantian more, unless you actually did. All right, so go ahead and take a breath in, and as you do, draw the hands back. We did this last week too. Inhale, draw the hands back, bring the energy to the kidneys, hold the breath there for a second, then release it. Keep holding the hands there. Are anybody's hands warm? If your hands are getting warm, that means your chi is getting built up. If your hands are not warm, don't worry about it. Just make note of it, because when your hands do get warm, then you'll know you're building up chi. Another sign of movement. I'm starting to burp right now myself. That's the opening up of my solar plexus and the opening up of metabolism, energy, and chi in my solar plexus. We turn qing, into chi in the lower dantian. Qi comes up and starts transforming in the yellow court, the solar plexus, into Shen as it moves up into the heart space, and so on. So, little reference for those of you who've heard me teach about alchemy from that perspective before. If that doesn't make any sense to you, don't worry about it. Keep tuning in, keep listening, you'll catch up eventually. Take a breath in, inhale. Exhale as you go down the backs of your legs. If you can go to your feet, great. If you can go to the backs of your knees, that's fine too. Just come around to the inside, either way. Inhale as you're coming up. Reach, get lightheaded at all, just take a break, come down toward the floor. Exhale like a waterfall here. Different ways to do this one. We're just going to take the hands. Inhale, go to the back. Exhale, come down. Inhale, come up. This is one of those 8 brocades of beast of variation. Exhale. Right from here. Inhale, massaging lower belly. Exhale. Stay down there for a minute. Hold your stretch. Whatever your position, hang. You can hold the backs of your knees, great. You can touch the floor, great. You can hold the backs of your heels. That's what this exercise is. Don't hurt yourself, because you may or may not be able to do that. And then breathe there. As much as possible through the nose, but breathe out through the mouth as needed and necessary, and so on. Then reach off to one side, reaching with your fingers or your fist. And the other side. And back to the center. Bend your knees first a little bit, like a horse stance, and then kind of power up. Once you get up, you're going to reach point with one finger, index finger, reaching, pointing, stretching. Elbow comes down, reaching, pointing, stretching one finger. And come back. Reach the arms out just as a stretch, reaching up and back. Opening up the chest, coming back up to the top of the head, above the head. Going back out, opening up the chest. Coming down. We're going to pick up the energy. Inhale. We're going to go into our round the world exercise. We exhale here. Inhale, exhale. Get a nice rocking thing going, one side, other side. When you're ready, come up and around. As you go up and around, we're going to swing one time, go right back the other way. Around, swing one time, go back the other way. So I go to my left, swing once, I come all the way up and around. As I go all the way around, I swing once to my right, and then I come all the way up and around. I go back the other way. You want to work with the breath. You're inhaling as you come up. You're exhaling as you come down. When you come back to the center, if you feel comfortable to do so, reach down toward the backs of your knees or the floor, something where you're hanging again to some degree, leaning forward, hanging, stretching, breathing. Once again, if you feel like it, reach off from with your left hand to your right side or your right hand to your left side. In other words, across the body. And then switch as you feel comfortable to do so. Bend the knees on your way back up. You can use your hands also to prop yourself up. Bend the knees. A little bit of a horse stance. Lift the arms, let them drop. This is the idea is to not have tension in the shoulders, so lift and drop. While your legs should be working. But if your legs work too hard, you're going to have to quit right away. And if your legs are too relaxed, you're going to be shaky and you're going to have to quit right away too. So you have to discipline your legs to find a little bit of stability there and find a little bit of position where you're sitting on a horse. You're sitting your butt down a little bit, your knees are bent, your feet are pointed forward, mostly parallel. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. I'm purposefully going to do an inhale through the nose. And then from my gut, I'm going to blow with my mouth. And I'll make my belly tight when I do that. It's a good practice for various reasons. We'll leave it at that for now. Take the right hand, sweep across. We're going to do this archer's bow and arrow where I'm pulling the bowstring here with my right arm and I'm pushing away with my left hand. And then I'm going to come across. So it's just like gathering energy through the air. However you want to think about that, gathering chi. Now I pull the string and I go this way. So this is the regular version. We're going to change its direction in a minute, but let's give it to you this way first. So we pull and we push. At home, stay where you guys are just like that. At home, you guys will be this direction that I'm in. Okay, so watch me and also watch them. All right, so you guys continue. I'm coming across this way. You guys can continue, yeah. And I pull and I push. So you at home, you're in this direction that I'm in right now. Okay, and I come across and I pull and I push. Exhale and sink your weight as you pull and draw that ball. Also, make sure you focus your eyes and look. Couple more, okay? If you want to inhale there, inhale as you're sweeping the hand across. Exhale as you're pushing and pulling. One more like this. Inhale, exhale. Let the hands drop down, come up. Inhale if you're ready to, or just lift your hands. Like if your breath is not ready to inhale, no problem. Let your hands come down. So remember here, when we go up, and you'll see this, watch Kung Fu monks, watch people practicing in Shaolin Temple, watch the kids, etc. You'll see them and love it. So conscious and deliberate. They go up here and then they bring their mind down. Getting grounded, getting clear, bringing your mind down. Now that's a big waterfall. We also have a mini waterfall. We come up to about the collarbone and we press. And we press. We also have a slight variation of this practice, which I like very much. So from this position here, when we lift the hands, instead of coming up like this, we come up like this, like we're bringing that energy back toward us. When we do that, rock back, don't fall over, but rock back a little bit to your heels. And then as you press down, press your weight into the front of your foot also. So you end up with this lift, rocking back ever so slightly. Don't do it to the point where you lose your balance, except that, ever so slightly. And then exhale and press. Exhale. Take that right hand, travel off to your left side. So at home, you go over here, left hand. Then bring it all the way around, like you put your thumb in your ear. But then take the top back of your hand, like the side of your hand, not the palm, but the back of the palm. And brush your own hair forward. When you bring your arm around, leave some tension in it. And keep some tension in your belly. That your belly, like if you're trying to move an object across the floor, you would have to keep your core somewhat taut, okay? And then go here. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to go over this side, same hand, come here, and brush here. If I had to move an object now, there's no way I'd have to be, if it was a refrigerator, whatever, I'm not going to just move it with my arm. So you have to turn your waist and move it to core. And then pivot your waist back. This is where I've said many times, you launch a ball, for example. So then you go around 1. This is your wind up. And then here, there's your softball throw. In this case, chi ball. But come around like this. Also, one other little detail here. Coming around. When I go this way with my hand, you see this back foot? I come up off the heel. When I come back to this position here, the heel hits the floor right as I'm launching my chi ball, because this is body mechanics working together. So if I do a short version, not the whole thing, just this part here, the hand is here, I wind up, my heel is like this, I launch the ball. I wind up, the heel comes up, the heel goes down, comes up, down, up, down, up, down. And then if I go wide, same thing, big and wide, same thing, heel comes up, heel comes down. Now from this position, I take my left thumb, I'm going to put it in my ear. No, I'm not. But I'm going to go that direction. Then the back of my hand, I'm going to brush my hair coming forward. I'm going to pull as if I'm pulling water. And then I'm going to throw the water. In this first version, don't worry about the heel. So I just come around and I throw the ball. I come around. Again, I've said before, this one's very good for you because you don't ever pick the milk up like this. So move your body like this. Notice it's in a sporadic fashion. Your arms are winding up like spirals. In our school, we call this particular exercise, I'm just going to keep going now on this side. We call this particular exercise dancing snakes. So you have this snake coiling, 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 coiling in a bizarre sort of movement. Okay, now as I pull here, if I want to add the heel, as I'm pulling here, my opposite heel, which would be my right heel, goes up, allows me to pivot. And now as I come back, my heel goes to the floor. So if I do the whole thing again, I come here, I brush my hair. As I'm pulling to the back side, we need to pivot our waist. So as we pivot our waist, just pivot until your heel comes up. Now I come here, and as I come back around, the heel goes to the floor. If you can't get that yet, don't worry about it. In time, you can play with it when you're ready to add that extra piece if you desire, but sometimes we won't even do it. So keep going here. Now let's switch back to the other side. Don't worry about the pivots of the heel right now, but let's just keep this one moving. Let's go one side right, and then let's go one side left. See if you can do this brain teaser. Let's go one side right, right thumb, right ear. Nope, psych. Brush the hair. Press forward. Left thumb, left ear. Nope, not really. Comb the hair. Pretend you're in water, especially when you get here. Pull the water. Pull it, pull it, pull it, pull it. And then push the water. I recommend try that in a pool sometime. And pull the water. And push. Come up, inhale. Exhale. Left hand goes down to the side. From this position, inhale slowly as your hand is pulling the chi up, and then come down like you're washing the arm. Whichever hand you're using, I'm putting my right to the outside. Whichever one you're using at home is fine. You come up, some degree of inhale, and some degree of exhale. This one is called bringing up the sea of chi. Sea of Chi is another name for lower dantian. Ooh, that's pretty cool, isn't it? In my book, some of you have seen me, I'm doing this one in the river. Water is falling from this hand. Water is dripping from my other hand. A very cool practice to do in the river or the ocean, whatever. or on the dry beach. If you'd like to add this variation, you come down here and as you're exhaling, you wash the palm 2, 3 times. You come up, inhale, exhale, wash 1, 2, 3, inhale, exhale, 1, 2, 3. After that exercise, always come to a waterfall. Let's do a mini one. Get centered. Bring your chi back inward. Focus back to your central column. Not just your spine, but what is called the Tai Chi pole. So come back to center. Hold a standing tree meditation for a moment. Notice the saliva changes there, maybe some ear popping. I'm getting a little yawning action going on there myself. My ears are kind of buzzing and doing some realignment, readjustment. Sometimes right in that pocket, which is what I just did right there, you get something that's kind of stuck, starting to move, and it's wanting to work its way through. This is a really good time to add like a very mini breath of fire. You're breathing in and out through your nose, you're letting the belly come up and down, but it's just mini. It's not like a super effort. Just a little mini breath of fire, and you'll notice, oh, that helps that squeeze right through there. Inhale, exhale, shake it out. Walk the feet up and down, a little light stomp on the floor. Roll the shoulders, neck. Get a little sip of water if you desire. When you're ready, just come back in and come to a regular standing tree meditation. Hands to the side. Got another nice yawn coming through there. Got a lot of activity right now in my ears. Inhale, exhale, walk the feet again from this position, closed fists, which means fingers coming in, thumbs going over the first 2 fingers. That's just to keep your thumbs and everything out of the way. From here, a light movement. I'm not going like this. It's just right here, about to the edge of my shoulder. And I'm shaking, so I'm pushing out, and then I'm pulling in. Push. Most of the, well, depending on how you do it, let's just say equal emphasis for now. But rather than push, pull, push, pull, push, pull, you're trying to get a shakiness about it, where you're pushing and pulling, and there's a shaking happening. Anybody get hot when you're starting to do that? Sets me on fire, like instantaneously. Now, with my hands like this, my thumbs pointing out, because if you're new to it, you might need to point your thumbs out. So from here, you're going in that direction out. The direction of your thumbs. Go here, stop. Move in, out. Move in easy, move out, not exactly easy, a little bit harder. So 1, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're trying to build the chi that way. Like Wei Chi, protective Wei Chi, that way. Now bring the thumbs down. Bring the hands in and don't hit your hands together or something. You can touch them if you want, but come in and stop. In and stop. Don't hurt yourself, but have some tension in your arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take your hand, your right hand, and put it on your hip like this. So at home, your right hand is on your hip like this. If you opened up your palm, it should be facing the ceiling. It's like this. Then you would be here at home, you'd be like this. Then take your left arm and just drop it down here. So now with just your left arm, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To the outside, 7, 8, 9, 10. This hand is down here, put it on your hip. Make sure if you open your hand, palm is to the ceiling. Close the hand back up. Let the other hand drop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pull that hand up. Now both your hands are up like this. Now go out to a horse stance. Bend your knees like so. This you'll see in many martial arts from Japan and China, Korea. Okay, it's called horse stance. And this is not a fighting stance. You will not see people take this stance to fight off bad guys. This is a training stance, and it's designed to build your chi. Notice what you're doing with your arms and your hands. Let them come back out here for a second. When you go like this and pull them in and bend your knees and squat a little bit, where are your hands? Right in the vicinity of what? Lower dantian. So your mind is focused in your lower dantian. And are we punching our energy away from us right now? No, we're pulling all the energy in, understand? So when you stand here like this, you are pulling the energy in and then holding the energy here. Now, everybody with me, if you would, hold your palms out like this. Because, check this out, I can just take my hands and put them here and fall asleep. When my hands are here, I want to imagine that I am drawing, roping this in, pulling it into myself, into my belly, and then holding it. One of the ways in which we train that is to now do it with our breath, not just the hands. So from here, we do a slow inhalation because that's the only way to breathe to your lower belly is a slow inhale through the nose. So we slow inhale. And then we try and hold the breath down there in the belly. 2, 3, 4, let it out. For right now, we're just going to do it like that. Let the hands go back out. Inhale. Sit your weight down, hold the breath. Also, exhale. One other detail. You see how my arms are out like chicken wings? You want to bring your arms and elbows in. You want to make these muscles in your back, your rhomboids, here in your back, tight. You want to squeeze them. Like, don't hurt yourself, but make them work. Don't be like so lazy you're here, it doesn't do anything. Pull it in. Okay, and then hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's exhale as we go this way. Inhale. Squeeze the shoulders, hold in the belly. I know it's a lot to juggle. 2, 3, 4. Let your hands just come out. Now inhale. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like throw away the bad, pull in the good. Hold the good in your lower belly, circulate it. Exhale. We have another one we haven't done in a while. From here, same, similar to this, right? We go here, hold, and then we're gonna rotate the hands out like 2 punches, and we're gonna go ha. Everybody, punch and go ha. Go ahead. Ha, ha. Okay. Now we're gonna go ho. We're dissipating it. So from here we inhale, contain it. 2 punches without hurting yourself. Ha, ho. Inhale. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh. Inhale, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh. Inhale, hold, 2, 3, 4. And if it causes you to cough or something, it just means you're doing a little too much ha and hold too soon. So just quiet it down a little bit and just ha. Oh. Hold, 2, 3, 4, and ha. Oh. 2 more. Oh. More. Oh. Good. And shake it out. Get it going this way. A little bit of a gentle drum here. Lifting that heel in the back takes the pressure off of the knees, the hips, etc. Swinging, being careful, but rotating, twisting the spine, stretching. Gently though. That's why it's called gentle drum. Inhale and exhale your breath while you're doing this. All right, let it unwind. Hold yourself still, standing tree meditation just for a minute. Be very still. Hold the floor with your feet. Make sure the knees are slightly bent. Notice that changing in saliva, etc. Blood changes, digestion, etc. Breathe as need be. I'm breathing a little louder because I'm managing my blood flow. I'm actually having a mini intense experience right now because I spent most of the day fasting. I did have a light breakfast, but I trained pretty hard for a couple of hours before coming in here. So I'm really feeling the chi moving, the blood moving, emotion moving, so much stuff. So sometimes when you're standing there in tree meditation, it's like, oh, it's just tree meditation. No, it's not. You have to breathe through what's rising, or you're not going to be able to stand there. So in those cases, there's different things we can do. Just primary is just breathe in and out, control your breath. Sometimes if you have a little more skill and you know what you're doing, then you might choose breath of fire. Other times you're not going to want to do breath of fire. Anyway, that takes a little bit more advanced understanding. All right, for now, just tap this out. Look it down. Speed right up here. This area, 3 miles and 9. Let's load the knees on the outside of the shin. Then let's come up gentle, hands out to the side, standing tree. If you haven't eaten much today, like in my case, you might feel a little lightheaded right here, which I do, but it's not too bad. I'm just gonna manage it. But that's also why I didn't show you the raise the hands above the head right here, because it would have been too much for me personally. So from this position here, go ahead and tap the buttocks area here, hips, sacrum. Opening this area up. So when we talk about mental clarity, a detail that some of you may or may not have caught in some of the last classes that I've taught, or who knows, anywhere along the way. Maybe you're just brand new to this teaching. So when you do not have mental clarity, when there is a lack of mental clarity, the chi is blocked. That's a simple interpretation and explanation. I could say a lot more about it, but for right now, let's keep it at that. The chi is blocked, so what's a simple solution? Get it moving. Watch what happens to your mental clarity. All right, hands on hips. From this position, we're doing the rocking of the hips, but I want you to move through in slow motion because I want you to go into every little kink that you feel as you're making that motion. Like you're sticking your butt out, you're leaning into this hip. You may feel some pulling, be careful, but a little pulling like in the vertebrae there and so on. You can use your hands here and your thumbs to kind of push down on the sacrum area. As you start to come forward and bring the belly button, let's say, for example, if I isolate this part here, I'm pushing the belly button forward. I'm using my thumbs right at the top of these like hip bones and related to like the sacrum. I could do it that way, or I could do it with flat hands. Hands going like this, and be careful, but just go to where it feels good. You're like just leaning back in this direction, okay? And I personally I prefer using my thumbs there. So I'll hold this way. Then I'm gonna go off one side. Should feel that you're doing it correctly along the spine of that side of your low back. If you're pushing down with your thumb, that's what you're gonna get. It's a little bit of a stretch in that area. All right, and then if we come and we start to move it around a little more quickly now, careful, but moving and just attempting to rotate the pelvis in a way that works for you. Let's put it like that. Everybody's kinks and so on are in different places. After you go around in one direction, go around in the other. Again, if you go too fast, for me, the way I see it is go too fast and you start to go through this, you miss some of those kinks and some of those places that are uncomfortable for you. Okay? So going around and going around and going back the other way. Not being in a hurry on this one, especially if you have issues in your hips. And then from that position, coming here, carefully reaching down, again, either to the backs of the knees, or down to the toes, or down to the floor, or fists to the floor if you practice this regularly and are flexible enough, or palms all the way to the floor. Bending knees, using your hands on your knees if need be, pushing yourself up. From this position here, we're in horse stance. I'm going to elongate one leg. So at home, if you were to elongate your right leg, then you're leaning to your left side, elongating the right leg, okay? So from here, I'm elongating my right leg. I can rest my elbow onto this leg. If you're more flexible and stronger, you can place your fists, for example, on the floor. But if you're not, don't try it. So elongating that direction. It could be one fist, could be one hand, but you're just basically hanging out here. Breathing. Those of you that, for whatever reason, either A, you're not strong enough or flexible enough, or you just like the variety, just rest your arm on this leg, use it as a platform, and chill right here. And then I lean, I shift my weight to my other side, I shift it to that direction. And then I pivot my hips. And now I'm leaning this way. And elongating the leg, leaning this way. From this position here, I push away. This leg that's elongated, I push back in that direction. I push back in that direction. That then allows me to pivot my waist. And now I can go this side. And I'll show you guys at home just so you can see a different direction here so you understand. So I'm in this direction, I'm hanging out. Okay, and I want to go the other direction. I'm going to push back that way, push back. From here, I'm going to pivot, and now I can lean to this side. Push back, pivot. Go back to the middle. Reach down, careful. Not just reaching down, basic toe touch or shin touch or whatever the case may be. Coming up, right foot planted. In Tai Chi, Kung Fu, different things. Karate Kid, where he stands on the pole, goes like this. Okay, putting your weight, your energy, and your mind into one leg. So my right leg is going to be the post leg. The other foot, light touch with your toes. If you're already strong enough and coordinated enough, you can go ahead and lift the foot off the floor. For those of you that are not, just touch the toes and try and lift it and count to 3, 2, 3. Great. Now see if you can do 4, 4. Now see if you can do 5. Okay, 5. The other leg starts shaking, and that's good for you. Now you might have to put this down. Oh, couldn't do it any longer. Okay, no problem. Focus and then lift it again. Don't just lift it again. Focus and then lift it again. Very important. Then this foot goes down. That becomes a post leg. Depending again where you are with this, but touch with the toes first. Put your mind, your energy, your focus into that leg. Start to lift the other foot. If you have to put it down, put it down. But before you lift it, focus. And then lift it. Focus, don't give up so quick. Focus on what you desire, the desired outcome. So if the desired outcome is to stay here and stay focused, when you make a mistake, I coach a lot of people, as a lot of you probably know. And when they make a mistake, a lot of people right here, they'll curse. Oh, dang it, or whatever, right? Or they'll say worse. But anyway, depending on how many hours I've been training, whatever. Anyway, so the foot is up like this. They get very frustrated. Ah, darn it. Don't do that. It's a waste of time. And it's a waste of energy. Get focused on what you want. What I want is to hold my foot like that. So if my foot goes down, that's just a distraction. Take a breath, a short one, a quick one, and come right back to the focus of what you want. I want to focus and I want to hold my foot here. And as you get better at this, you focus on, say, I want to hold it here for 10 seconds. Okay. And then you count it off 10 seconds. And you try and do 10. If you cave at 8, well, it's no problem. There's always tomorrow. Okay, there's always later. Holding here and attempting to maintain a solid foundation. This will do many things for you. Go ahead and tap that up. Many good things for you. It will build your strength. It will build your bone density. It will challenge your mind. It will increase your balance. It will bring healing to your brain. You know why? Because when you train this side of the body, you're using this side of your brain. When you train this side of the body, you're using this side of your brain. So these kinds of practices are very good for you, okay? So from this position, then we have our lemur pose, where we take that foot, we place it back behind us a little bit. Just some position like this, almost like we're on a surfboard kind of thing. But then we're going to bring our feet closer together. They're not as far apart as like on a surfboard. From that position, I'm going to pull this front foot. This is called the cat stance. Remember, this is the one where the cat's getting ready to pounce. The front foot is light. It's very light. So go ahead and get your cat stance first. If you cannot lift this leg, okay, then that means your weight distribution is not correct. Like right now, it's very hard for me to lift this leg right here. If I shift my weight to my right leg, it becomes much easier to lift my left leg. So I want you to get the weight shift and put it in your right leg. And then I want you to lightly lift your left leg. It should be easier. Doesn't mean it's necessarily easy for you, but easier. Now I put the weight in my left leg. I turn my foot, that's my cat stance. And I should be able to relatively easier, lift this leg, either by the knee or by the foot. Either way, lift, should be relatively easier. All right, so from this position here, weight in this foot and weight just on the ball of my foot and my toes. From this position here, I'm going to push it down with my left hand. Looks like this. Notice it has a rounded quality to it. It's not a straight arm, rounded. And this is my grounded connection. This is my connection to the ground. Push and connect. Magnets, bing, stuck to the ground. This other hand, this is you've heard me teach this before. This is like the Madonna Vogue movement, you know, back in the 80s. She'd go Vogue. Anyway, so right here, this comes and holds, protecting Wei Qi from this side of the face. Like, don't let this sit on your head. Push this away from you. So at home, you guys will be in this position. So with this right hand, push away, not too far, I would say about a foot maybe. And now I'm here. Once you have that and you feel pretty solid with it, go ahead and lift that front foot. And then focus your energy and your mind into the sturdy leg, into the iron leg. Okay? And if you can't stay there, again, don't freak out about it. And as you're holding this position, it is going to cause your back leg to shake and quiver, and you're attempting to stay sturdy even though there's movement in that leg. Okay, so whatever you did there, excellent job. From this position here, you guys at home, we're going to turn the foot to the right. There's my little cat stance. My weight is in my left leg. I'm holding solid there. This one, remember, should be able to be light. Should be able to be light here. Now from this position, I'm going to press down with my right hand. I'm pressing down, and I have a rounded quality with my arm here, letting the chi flow. From this position here, this hand here, this is my vogue coming across my head, kind of. I'm going to protect the energy from this side. This one's pushing down. This one's pushing off to my left side. From here, I'm going to go ahead and lift that foot. You can lift it with bent knee. You can just lift it off the floor. However you want to begin to experiment with it is just fine. The main thing is I want you to focus on the stability of that iron leg in the back. It's iron on one hand, but it's also like bamboo because there's flexibility in it, and it's moving and it's shaking and it's vibrating. It's being innervated. And as it's being innervated, you are squeezing and creating internal massage. Very, very good for you. But some of you are going to be focused very much here where you go to lift and then you have to put it back down. I don't want you to, at home, if you're doing that, I don't want you to go, oh man, I can't do this. Baloney. That just means your practice is here. Move it or lose it. How can I focus on getting that off the floor and keeping it for 3 seconds? 4. Darn it. No, don't say darn it. Just take a breath and focus on what you want. Lift the foot, hold the foot, and then do your best to count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent job, whatever you did there. Go ahead and inhale, exhale. Move it or lose it is always a theme of my teaching with Qigong practice. If you have arthritis in your pinkies, move your pinkies. If you have arthritis in your feet, move your feet. If your ankles bother you, move your ankles. If your hips bother you, move your hips. You get the idea. Real easy now, whether you're using breath or just using your hands to calm and quiet the chi. We've come to the end of our class. Check in with yourself. Place hands on lower dantian, holding the feet, screwing them into the floor, bending knees ever so slightly. I'm going to just take a minute here to check in with ourselves. How is your chi the same? How is it different? What about your temperature? What about your saliva? What about your breath? Inhale, exhale, bring your feet closer together. Bring your hands right to a prayer-like position. It's called our heart mudra or our prayer pose. Relax your shoulders as much as possible. This is just the cherry on our cake. But cherries on top of cakes taste pretty good. So be still for a moment. Put that cherry right on your heart chakra. Have a little compassion for yourself. A little heartfelt gratitude for all of us who got together to practice today and everything that came together to make it happen. Gratitude for our family and our friends, our students, our clients, the people we run into out there in the marketplace. Gratitude for being alive. Gratitude that our bodies are still working and kicking. Grateful for the opportunity to train one more time. Grateful for the energy that you do feel, the heat that you may feel in your hands, the energy that may be coursing through your body. Grateful that it's come to do its work. Inhale, exhale. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Make sure to drink some water, plenty of water, following class, flush out all those internal poisons. Qigong, of course, is a practice of internal meditation. So drink that water, flush it out, make sure. People always say, how much water should I drink? Drink enough water that you're actually peeing. And when you're peeing, that your pee gets rid of all those bubbles and all of that yellow stuff and everything else. And then you're good to go. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you next week back at the other place. So see you soon. Take care, everyone. Wave, everybody. Wave. Wave.
Thank you.
Thank you.